Finland leaders have announced support for the country to join NATO, breaking with the country's long-standing policy of neutrality. Finland's president and prime minister have called for the country to apply for membership, quote, without delay.
We have the formal joint statement right now that's just posted by the president of the Republic and prime minister of Finland on Finland's NATO membership. NATO membership would strengthen Finland's security. As a member of NATO, Finland would strengthen the entire defense alliance. Finland must apply for NATO membership without delay. We hope that the national steps still needed to make this decision will be taken rapidly within the next few days.
Well, Vladimir Putin has threatened, and I quote, severe military and political consequences if Finland should join NATO. Practically speaking, though, there's not much he can do to stop this from happening besides his political bluster.
In a big development over on the Russian front, Finland is now saying that it will apply to NATO post-haste. I'm Yasmin Khan with Rebel HQ, and this is a big deal. It's not really a surprise, but it's still a significant announcement coming out of Finland. As we are all very well aware by now, Putin has invaded Ukraine in an attempt to restore the glory of old Russia. He considers the Ukrainians to be Russians, and he believes the border between the two nations to be illegitimate. Despite the myriad of reasons he's given for this invasion, that's the real reason, and he believes in it so much that he's willing to kill his own countrymen to achieve his goal of reunification. Now, this goal of his was never a secret. He's been talking about it for at least the past several years, and given his strong sense of nationalism, his skewed understanding of history, and his billions of dollars in private wealth, his invasion of Ukraine was always just a matter of time. With the invasion, other former Russian or Soviet nations were put on high alert for the fear that they would be the next target. But one nation never let its guard down. No one takes Russia more seriously than Finland. Finland shares a huge land border with Russia. It's about 810 miles. Like Ukraine, Finland was once a part of the Russian Empire until it declared its independence in 1917. 1917 was not a great year for the Russian Empire. The Bolsheviks were revolting and Lenin was rising to power. Just a year later, they kidnapped and then killed the Tsar and his entire family. The next 10 years would be quite unstable for Russia, so amidst all this internal turmoil, Russia had little choice but to accept Finland's declaration of independence. So they weren't really happy about it. Anyway, jump ahead to 1939, the new Russia, now under Stalin's leadership, decided it wanted Finland back, or at least parts of it. If things aren't sounding familiar to you already, they're about to.
NATO is more unified now than at any time since in the immediate aftermath of 9/11, when they rallied to defend the United States. It's growing stronger, not weaker. You know, Putin has created the very military and political nightmare he was trying to avoid.
So Russia couldn't just attack Finland and take whatever they wanted from them because the two nations had signed a non-aggression pact. So the Russians attacked themselves and blamed it on the Finns, claiming that Finland was the one in violation of the agreement. Then the Soviets invaded with all of the military might that they could muster, only to be met by unexpectedly fierce opposition. The Finnish people were not willing to succumb to Russia's demands, so they employed guerrilla warfare tactics and their home field advantage against the Russians. They were wearing all white, so they blended in with the snow. They were skiing down the mountain slopes, and they were sniping Russians, not skiing and sniping at the same time, though. Now, the Winter War, as it came to be known, also birthed the Molotov cocktail, which the Ukrainians are using today. Russian soldiers also were not allowed to opt out of the invasion. They were told that they would be killed if they deflected, which is what we've heard is happening again in Ukraine. Also, Finland had the support of nearly the entire Western world in terms of political, military, financial, and humanitarian support. The Finnish people killed a ton of Russians in defense of their own independence, and they've been keeping an eye on Russia ever since. So why haven't they joined NATO this entire time? Long story short, they didn't want to upset Russia. Joining NATO could have been seen as an act of aggression against Russia, so to maintain somewhat friendly relations with their neighbor, they'd maintained an official stance of neutrality while partnering with NATO. They even go to the NATO meetings. Finland already meets all of the criteria for membership, so once they apply, it's expected that they'll be accepted quite quickly. Also, the Finnish people have doubled their support for NATO membership over the past few years, notably since Russia invaded Crimea. Now, this is huge because it's likely that Finland is setting itself up to be Putin's next target. Putin even said that he would fight against Finland and/or Sweden joining the alliance, and Sweden is expected to make a similar announcement in the coming weeks, if not days. Finland is calling Putin's bluff, though. If and when Finland is granted membership, it'll have the backing of all of the NATO member nations. Ukraine doesn't have that, which is why this invasion hasn't yet become a full-scale war. If Finland is a part of NATO and Putin attacks Finland, he's engaging with far more than one nation. Some believe he wants to provoke the West into a full-scale war, but others think this will give him pause. Either way, Russia's army is already suffering. Their equipment is outdated, they're losing soldiers and artillery, morale is low, and allegedly, Putin's sick. But for all of his threats and his tantrums, Putin can't do much to stop NATO's expansion, which was a huge motivator for him from the very start. Finland's membership would more than double Russia's borders with NATO member nations, and while he may very well try to attack Finland, it doesn't seem like a fight he'll be able to win.